Larry, Fort Worth Memories Museum and Groups, and YouTube at Fort Worth Memories. Let me see if I can find the... Yeah, there we are. It just sent me a notification just now. Okay. So I'm going to style the video. Let me turn that sound off. Today is Saturday, May 10th. Until turn the sound down. And I'm going to share it to the public and memories, live videos, and messages. Okay. Here we go. So we're eating today at Grumps and River Oaks. I'm getting the writing pad down here. I don't know of a lot of stuff. Well, they're having that deal at Burgers Lake, Buddy Whittington and that group. So I'm sure we're going to be slammed over at Grumps, but it is what it is. Aaron's in, Jeannie's in, Greg and Don are in. So I've been looking for the wash basin bowl that E.M. Daggett took off of the ruler of Mexico, General Santa Anna. And somebody this morning early said, what's the big deal about that wash basin bowl? So let me explain it to you. Santa Anna, his army, they were the most battle-tested army around in that time. They fought many battles. And so this wash basin bowl is made of 1,000 Mexican silver dollars. It's big. It's what he would have it in his tent, and that's what he'd take a spit bath with, kind of, sort of. But everything that represented him just infuriated Texans. So Ephraim Daggett, Captain Daggett, did not only take that wash basin bowl, he took his battle jacket with the gold epaulets. If you ever saw the movie The Alamo, that hat with the feathered on the top, he took that. He took damn near everything but his underwear. At the point of being bayoneted, Santa Anna, who was the supreme ruler of Mexico, signed over Texas. And then Ephraim Daggett took the stuff I just described. So when General Sam Houston, who became the first president of the Republic of Texas, started negotiating with Mexico on different things, the then Mexican ruler said, hey, before we start talking, you got to give my guy all of his stuff back. it's embarrassed him or something, you know. So George is in, Ginger's in. So President Sam Houston contacted Ephraim Daggett and said, you need to return that stuff. I'm going to send somebody up there to get it. We're going to send it back to Mexico, and so we can start negotiations. Well, Daggett didn't send this wash basin bow or the gold epaulets that was on his Santa Anna's war battle jacket. So now let's get into the reason that all of that stuff meant so much to Texans. It's my estimates are Santa Anna killed about 500 of us, not counting the Alamo, which is 185 or 189, whichever number you want to. So the big thing that really pissed off the Texans, which was before the Alamo, it was the Battle of Goliad. There was two battles of Goliad. In 1835, a group of Texans led by James Bowie captured the fort at Goliad and made off with there was very few casualties, and they did not massacre the Mexicans that were there, but they got about $10,000 worth of supplies. $10,000 in 1835 is, I don't know how many, probably 100,000 now. So anyway, it was a big victory for the Texans, the revolution, the Texas Revolution. It was a huge victory. Well, that really infuriated Santa Anna, so in March of 1836, the next year, right back at the fort of Goliad, and this is after the Battle of Refugio and Coletta. There was about, some people say as high as 500 Texans in that fort. That was led by James Fannin. Fannin dies in this battle. So on March 27th of 1836, they overran the fort, way outweighed, just like the Alamo, 4 or 5 to 1, the Mexicans. So under a white flag, the Texans surrendered. They sent word to Santa Anna, and he was not present, and said, we've captured the fort and we've got all these prisoners. The Texans thought they'd surrendered as prisoners of war. Santa Anna told his commanders to march them out of the fort and execute them. Unarmed, they were executed. A bunch of them were set on fire. They stacked them up and burned them. There was about 20 or 25 that had been bayoneted, and they played dead, and they survived, so the stories all matched. So there's several battle cries that caused us, the Texans, to be victorious. Remember the Alamo, but remember Goliad. These guys were not armed, thought they were being surrendered. They told them they were marching them outside to feed them, that there was food. They set up a pretense out there of supply lines that they were going to feed the prisoners, and they just executed them. Shot them, bayoneted them. So for the person asking, what's the big deal about that wash basin bowl? It's not just a big deal, it's a huge deal. Okay? I'm sure a lot of y'all that are watching this don't know about that Battle of Goliad. There was two battles. 1835, the Texans were victorious. Jim Bowie was the commander, captured about $10,000 worth of supplies. A year later, or not even a year, but in 1836, March 27th, they overran the fort of Goliad. The Texans surrendered under James Fannin. A white flag. Remember, a white flag. They surrendered. They are then prisoners of war. And that goes back way before the 1800s. That was just the correct thing to do. But that's not what Santa Anna did. They massacred. They talk about, a lot of historians will talk about, depending on if they're on the side of the Confederate or the Union, Bloody Bill Anderson was a Confederate raider, and Jesse James and them rode with him, and they massacred at one town. There was a train that pulled in, and there was wounded Union soldiers, and they just flat massacred them and did horrible stuff to them. And I think there was about 50 or 60 bodies. This deal, there was 400 or 500. So, to me, that's why this bowl is so important. And I think I'm getting closer to it. But that's the history behind the Wash Basin Bowl of Santa Anna. And why Ephraim Daggett, he'd chased him all over Texas. He got real close to him 2 or 3 times. Santa Anna had a peg leg. He had lost in battle. And during this last deal where Captain Daggett cornered him, he got him up underneath a big oak tree, and he signed over Texas. Should have cut his head off right there, but he didn't. Okay, so that's the reason. The Wash Basin Bowl, though, was here in Fort Worth for over 50 years. It might still be here. I don't know. But it's my life's mission to find it. I actually posted that deal showing the pictures of Josephine Ryan in one picture holding that Wash Basin Bowl. She was Ephraim Daggett's great-granddaughter in 1936. And then another photo of Amon Carter Sr. and Josephine Ryan in the log cabin that is the log cabin that the Indians kidnapped Cynthia Ann Parker, which is now at the Log Cabin Village, but back in 1936 it was at Shady Oak Farm. Amon had bought it and moved it to his ranch, farm, whatever. So, but I posted it on historical. They took it down. I just can't believe it. That'll be the last time I post on that deal. So, for people that are following that group, I guess it's not historical enough. It was in Fort Worth for over 50 years. It's a major piece of Fort Worth history, Texas history. Okay? I'm passionate about the Texas Revolution. Had family members in it, so. Where is the Log Cabin Village? Right here, half a mile from me. Across the street from the zoo, really. It's neat. You ought to go to it. I'm surprised that the city hadn't let them tear that down. Really, to be honest with you. So that's why the Wash Basin Bowl is so important to me and to a lot of other people. Tom is in. So we always talk about our heroes, and I posted a good picture this morning of the Stripling's Honor Roll plaque that's made out of solid bronze, weighs 220 pounds, and is displayed right here in the Fort Worth Memories Museum. There was 88 employees that went to World War II that worked at Stripling's. All of them came back except for one. Those folks were also big heroes. And Memorial Day is coming up on the 26th. But the guys that fell at Goliad, there was actually accounts that there was some, where the Mexican armies went, a lot of their wives went with them, and they were so taken back that several of them tried to intervene and stop them from bayoneting these guys that had already been shot. They shot and killed some of them. There was one lady that survived it, and they called her the Angel of Goliad. There was about 20 of our Texas Revolutionary guys that survived it. But like I say, I really wonder how the history teachers are in Mexico that talk about that, if they count that as a victory. It was a massacre. We used to talk about the Indians massacring these wagon trains and stuff, which didn't really happen here. The Warren wagon train was one, but that wasn't here. About how brutal they were, they just massacred and brutalized the settlers. Well, this was a battle-hardened army that had a lot of pride to it. Like I say, up until that battle, I always respected the Mexican army. They fought all over the place. So you can imagine why the 189 months later at the Alamo fought till the death. What was the driving force is the 450 that were massacred at Goliad the year before. That's why I wish that we taught more history to our youth especially, but we don't. So anyway, alright, we're going to eat at Grumps and River Oaks, and if it's full, it's just full. If you don't want to wait, you can go down the road and we'll meet again next week. But I'm going to be there. I got a message from Scott yesterday saying that Gene's in. We're getting ready to do a new studio over here, and he told me that let me see what it says. He got the phone calls working last night. We can accept up to 250 calls in the queue and put them on the air and send texts and all kinds of stuff. That's what's coming up with this new podcast that I'm going to be doing. So we're having to add a lot of equipment over here to really do it the correct way. Okay, so let's honor our sponsors: Yellow Snake Horses, Brazos River Ranch. You can ride horses. Today would be a perfect day for a couple of hours for $75. You just need to call her. How far is it? It's about an hour away. Go down 20 to Millsap, exit Millsap, and it's right there on the Brazos. Eric Walsh, real estate business, board of directors at Larry's Kids. A Bird AC and Heating, that's Dub Peacock's company. Anything with your heat and air unit. Dana Lang, Dana sells Cowtown. She's real estate. She's real knowledgeable about Fort Worth history also. Pat and Richard Carr, Dickie Carr Sand and Gravel, great folks. Always there to help. Coburn's Catering. Steve Coburn is probably the third generation. Coburn's has been around since 1946. So it's impossible to have an event too big for them. They do the stock show every year, so that's over 100,000 people. Fort Worth Lumber, I-35 South, building plans, materials, any of that. Just want to ask questions, they can answer. K-Ranch Roofing. Jorge Hernandez is the owner. If you think you might have roof damage, all you got to do is call. Bree is the office manager, and she'll get somebody out there that's convenient for you and for them. And they'll inspect your roof. They don't charge you anything. They'll tell you if you have roof damage or not. Don't wait till it starts leaking through. Cross Electric, Brandon Cross, voted one of DFW's favorites. Anything electrical, Brandon's company can fix. Jenny Stewart, State Farm Insurance. All I ask you to do is just call them and see if you can save some money. Rex Benson's Old South Pancake House, 2 locations. The one on University is open 24/7. The one in Burleson closes at 9 or 10 at night. Optimist Club of Fort Worth, that's an international organization. Jeff Norman is the guy that heads up this one. They give us a Christmas tree every year, plus they do lots of good stuff for youth, boys and girls. Charlie Guerin's Railhead Barbecue. Charlie is our state rep. He's also on the board at Larry's Kids. Very knowledgeable about Fort Worth, always willing to help. Real passionate about the bicycle giveaway. Raines Plumbing, family-owned business. They pride themselves in their reputation. They really do great work. Casey Crawl, Medicare, Medicaid, they're experts. Don't try to navigate that without some help. You'll go crazy. Let them, just give them a call. They'll meet you at your place, their place, or somewhere in between. Tri-State Dent, Jason and his crews out there, they'll come to you. Hail damage, door dings, minor dents, they do it all. Rex's Bar and Grill, next to Old South, used to be Macaroni Grill. That thing is the Taj Mahal of sports bars, maybe in the state of Texas. Swartz and Hanson, architects, very active in the bike giveaway. Stroud Auto Supply, Danny Stroud and his wife, they're second generation. You don't see very often a independent auto supply store going head to head with AutoZone or O'Reilly's, but they're in the Riverside and Haltom City area. I bought parts there when I was a kid. Phelps Family Auto Care, Mike Phelps and his wife and their teams. Nothing but good words come out about them. They're in the Burleson area. G2 Garage is Chris, heads that operation up. They're in the White Settlement area. They're a phone call away. All you got to do is call them, bring a vehicle in, and they take care of it. Dickie Carr is Richard Carr's nephew. He owns a company called Grateful for Your Trees. If you got a tree that's big and you want it gone, they can cut it down and make firewood out of it. But they trim trees, they grind stumps down, they do all of that. Look at all that stuff. Landscape, fence, all types of haul off, demolition. They do it all. Grumps and River Oaks. Fort Worth Florist. Jeanette and her team. We had 3 members that used her this week. Michael Resendez sent out flowers, and then we had a couple of more out-of-state members that used them. Stinger's Sports Bar in Azle used to be the old Mark Dean's barbecue. I'm going to try to get out there today or tomorrow and do a live video. Also, Blue Mountain Cafes, all 5 locations. They are sponsors of our group for the third or fourth year. There's Scott. Hello? Hello?
Larry, Scott.
Yeah, hold on. I'm finishing up with the live, then I need to talk to you about posting something. Alpha Design and Build. That's Lance Sanders. He's a remodeler. They'll do residential or commercial. Call them and have a meeting and tell them what you want. There's Scott. He's actually on the phone now. He builds websites, consultation, any of the above, and he's cheaper than anybody else you'll find. Winstead Paint and Body, Clay Winstead. They're on White Settlement Road, 1 block west of Roberts Cutoff. Okay, I got to talk to the guru right now, so I will talk to y'all in a little bit. Don't forget we're eating at Grumps and River Oaks.